Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe, to the channel. Happy 2022. It's January the 1st, New Year has come, and that also means that apart from festivities and having a nice sip of coffee after a long night, we're going to take a look at the third round of the World of Tanks Blitz auction. It's coffee time over here, it's tea time over there on the screen. And that tank we have over here is the Badger, which was one of the stars, so to speak, of the previous round of the auction. We also obviously had the T95E6, but what we're going to see now are the tanks that are in the auction in tier 10, and they're going to have two of them. One of them is this, the very much infamous T22 medium. I think this is one of the best tanks in the auction in the third round. It is the other tier 10 is going to be this one, the WZ1115A. But this T22 medium tank, it's so troll. It is, I mean, the armor, it's angled everywhere. You can even see that on the lower plate it is a little bit angled right over there. So that means that even if you have side shots, it will bounce quite a bit. Looking at the gun itself, typically Russian, I would say, 310 in terms of alpha, 252 in terms of penetration, but it is, as you can see, with the calibrated shell, so we're going to drop that down. And then we have 240, 300. 300 on heat is not much, it's not brilliant. But take a look at the armor, guys. And it's, I mean, it's 100, only 100, but it's angled everywhere. This is a really troll tank. If you just drive like this, if you do it like that, if you're driving around towards an enemy, a lot of tanks will bounce on you. And I'm not quite sure what the prizes will be, because I'm recording this one while it's still 2021. And even though I said happy 2022, you're going to watch this one on January the 1st anyway. I predict this will start at 22k in terms of gold. You might have to be quick if you want to snatch this one up, because I predict this one will sell out pretty darn fast. T22 medium, well worth picking up. Then you have this one, the WZ1115A, the Serpent, a Chinese tier 10 medium tank with a big gun. As you can see, it looks very much IS-3ish in a way. And this gun, look at it, 273 in terms of penetration, 333 again with the calibrated shells of heat penetration, 460, 390 in terms of alpha, 600 on its high explosive, really good. When hull down and facing frontally, this tank is a bunker. And what I can recall actually from playing it is that it's a bit sluggish in terms of traverse speed. I'm not quite sure if it's still like that at the moment, but you can see 50 kilometers forward speed and traverse is hull turn rate 30 degrees. I found that one to be a little bit sluggish in terms of traversing, but once it picks up speed, and it picks up speed quite well, it just cruises down a lane, ready to barge into the enemy and inflict 2,388 in terms of DPM. And I do have the big foot fitted. You could obviously swap out the protective kit and then add this, the tofu soup, and if you would add a rammer, you would go up to 2,600 in terms of DPM, which is just a little bit better, but then you lose obviously a little bit in terms of penetration. These two will probably be at the same price, as I said, about 20k, 22k, and expect these to sell out quite fast. This one's going to be quicker, obviously, in my opinion at least, than the WZ1115A. I think the T95E6 sold out after 3 days or so, and the Badger was 4 days, so do be quick. And talking about selling out fast, what about this one then? Shut up and take my money! That's basically what you want to say about this one, about the K91. 3-shot autoloader, not your typical Russian. I mean, it has an autoloader, that's not typical Russian, and if I'm not mistaken, this one has a little bit in terms of the gun depression. 7 degrees, that's not bad. I mean, T62A has 7 degrees too, but normally these Russian tanks will get about 5, so 7 degrees, it's not bad at all. In terms of armor, 220 on the turret, 120 on the hull, 100 on the sides, on the rear, 140 on the side of the turret, 120 on the rear of the turret. This is quite a good tank. These are weak spots right over there. these turret cheeks, but if you wiggle the turret a little bit, they're not going to be able to really reliably penetrate that. This, however, this barn door over there, that's a reliable penetration, but you can side script with the tank. And there's a bit of a problem with the armor model, because you can see this plate right over here. Normally you would be able to punch through the drive wheel and then into the hull. Not so much with the K91, it is really troll. And you do have 3 shots in an autoloader at quick succession as well. You can see right over there, 3 shots in the magazine, 3.53 in terms of shell reload, so you need 7 seconds to shoot the enemy. But you do have 350 in terms of damage. Yes, it used to be 310, this tank has been buffed. God knows why, but in burst capability it is quite quick. And in terms of total magazine reload, 16 seconds, that's not too bad whatsoever. I do run double provisions, as you can see. You could run the Vans, then you would have a slightly lower reload as well, but you do lose a little bit in terms of penetration. And I mean, let's face it guys, 341 on your heat, love it. This one's going to sell out fast, I think, too. Maybe starts at 20k thereabouts, maybe even high if Wargaming really want to grab up the money. But I think this one will start at 19k or 20k, and it will be gone really quick. Well worth picking up though. And yes, I've said it before guys, that this auction, this round is full of tanks you will want to get. And one of them is a bit puzzling in a way, because it has been available recently for free as well. We do get this lot in terms of tier 8 tanks. We're looking at the Shark, obviously. We have the Sheriff, we have the Guard, we have the, what's the camouflage in this one called again? The Scarface. The Scarface. Are you talking to me? And we have the Ravioli, we have the Progetto 46, the Reborn, and we do have the Skoda T27. Wargaming, could you please give the legendary camo for this one available right over here as well? Is it already? No, it is not. It's rampant. Okay, I'm going to install it then. There we go. Probably because it's on the press account, but this one needs to be available in the boxes straight away. Anyways, in terms of this lot, obviously this one, poof, and it's gone. That's what's going to happen. I can remember from last year when I was reviewing lot number 1 or maybe even 2, when I was thinking, Wargaming, you made a little bit of a boo boo. You made a mistake in the news article. There's no Progetto in the auction at all. There was, but it was already sold out. If they would price it at 18k gold, everybody and their mother would get this tank. It would just go poof and it's gone. Maybe not 18k, but you get the idea, guys. This one, even at top prices, everybody will snatch this one up. And why so? It's a legendary tank. It is flexible. It has an auto reloader. It is mobile. It can bounce a few shots on the troll turret, basically. But yeah, this is just a great tank. And I'm going to take a quick look at the statistics over here, as you can see. Reload between shots, 2.5 seconds. That means, I mean, if you fire the first one, auto reload time, you do have to factor this in. 2.5 plus 6.28. The longer you dive into the magazine, the deeper you go, the longer your reload will be. So this DPM 2K, that's, I think, the most positive one. I'm a nab at doing that, but okay. I'm running this on the Progetto. As you can see, you could go with the calibrated shells, obviously, but this helps a little bit with basically everything. So, really good tank to have. Talking about good tanks to have, this is one of the best tier 8 heavy tanks currently in the game, the premium heavy tanks that is. I would have this one over the T26 E5 to be honest. This is basically a souped up Pershing tank. Good, hull down, really nice, great DPM, but not as flexible or as well armored as this one, the Shark. And this camouflage, guys, you just gotta love it, don't you? I mean, it says on the back as well, T54E2, in case you were thinking it was a different tank. But this tank is like a mini E5. It can go hull down. It has a tier 9 gun with 220 penetration, 260 on its APCR. You can see I have nothing on the tank because this one's on the pressure count. There's nothing on the tank already. 310 in terms of alpha damage, 260 on its APCR, which is good. It's not shooting heat, so it doesn't get monstrous penetration. But at least APCR will punch through spaced armor. So that is a good thing. In terms of armor, as said, 240 on the front of the turret, 155 on the hull. This is a hull down beast because you do have 10 degrees of gun depression as well, as stated right over there. Progetto, and this one will sell out really quick. And I think the next one to sell out, and we're going to leave the Pershing for just a little bit, will be this one, the SU-130PM. Really good tank too. A bit of a problem with this tank, and we do have to set this one to 100 cruise skills purchase. There we go, because then we can actually see the tank shining. One of the problems with this tank is the turret. It rotates, what's it like, 50 degrees towards the left, or 70 to the left and 70 to the right. It doesn't have a fully rotatable turret like the Scorpion G does. But it has a good gun, and it's Russian, so the Scorpion might be the more accurate gun. This one seems to hit snapshots just a little bit better. 318 pen on your heat, and if you fit the calibrated shells you go to 350. 257 is already good, but if you're not penning, just click or tap and boom. You know, that's what happens, guys. Going to drop this one towards the come on, yeah, there it is. To the other equipment again. Armor non-existent. You can't fit a spall liner on the tank, as you can see, but there's no armor on this tank except for this little bit over here, this little bit of a front plate. If you have the tank hull down and use maximum gun depression and you're pulling back behind the ridge, you might just bounce, because this is 30 mils, and that means you can't be overmatched by 75mm guns, etc. Big guns, they will just punch right through, and you might catch an occasional shot on the tracks, etc. Yada yada. But don't expect to bounce in this tank. Really good, potent tank destroyer, well worth snatching up, and that means you already have this tank to figure out if you want to get it, and then maybe this one, and then maybe this one, and then the K91. This is a good lot, guys. It really, really is. I haven't played this one. I will probably try to pick up this one myself. Why so? It is a Czechoslovakian tank, and it has an autoloader. And I like tanks with autoloaders. And this one has great burst fire. Look at this. 1.5 seconds. Bam! 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 Just like that. 3 seconds you will unload 3 shots at 220 average damage. That's 660. And because you're an autoloader, you can go for track shots quite easily. I think the magazine reload time is a bit long, but if we do fit the goulash and the fried cheese and we're going to use a vent still, we're dropping it to just about 16 seconds, which is good. Really, really good. Damage per minute 2089, not too bad whatsoever. And in terms of penetration, we're looking at 194 and 237 on its APCR. And if we're going to use the calibrated shells, it goes to 204 and 249. Lovely, lovely stuff in my opinion. Do we have gun depression? 8 degrees. Meh. I would have figured that this tank might be able to get more because of the frontal mounted turret and this lower or this angled front plate. But take a look, it's a fairly flat turret, so obviously it can't have gun depression. And it's not a Russian tank, so yeah, I mean, Matilda 4, I'm looking at you. Yes, I do. Anyways, I think I'll snatch this one up, autoloader. I haven't played with it, so I can't really say if I recommend it or not, but I'll snatch it up and then I'll play a bit for a regular review. What's left then? Oh, Ravioli Sherman tank with a big gun. What's the best summary of this tank? Tier 5 hull in a Tier 9 match. That's basically it. But you do have a great gun. It's a Tier 8 gun, as you can see, 105mm, 350 damage, 300, 400 on high explosive, 210 on its APCR and 275 on the high explosive anti-tank rounds. But the biggest problem is this: 90, 65, 65, 51, 38, 38. Yes, 38. You are a Tier 8 tank. You will go against a Charioteer. You will go against a Conqueror, against a Conway, against a Borsig, against a Waffle Tractor, against an SU, a Scorpion, etc., etc. they will make minced meat out of you if you show them the flat side. So what you want to do with this tank is basically go hull down, because you do have 10 degrees of gun depression, and you are that sniping support tank, not like massive long range, because if you have to travel around, then it's not going to work well. You will get caught off guard. But you don't want to be frontline too much in this tank if you are a bottom tier. Maybe as a top tier, yes, please. But there is obviously a bit of a problem with the tank because, yeah, it doesn't really have armor on the sides. Do go hull down. Expect to bounce a few shots maybe on the gun mantle a little bit. But other than that, Sniper Schnitzel, Sherman tank. And it's well worth picking up just because it's a Sherman. Anyways, guys, SCG, bit of a strange beast, hybrid I think between the tank destroyer and the medium tank. It has a rear mounted turret. It doesn't have any gun depression except for 5, which isn't a lot, but yeah, it has a goodish gun at 189 penetration, 236 with calibrated shells. Make no mistake about that. Take a look at this, guys. If you're going to not fit the calibrated shells, 225. Ooh, not too bad, but you do have big alpha. And you are quite sneaky for a medium tank. So this is a hybrid between a tank destroyer and a medium tank. Flank with it, shoot people in the side, and then bugger off again. Don't go frontlining with this one straight up the front if you are the first one there. If in the first 2 minutes of the game. Why so? Your DPM isn't that good. You can see that's with not double food. We're going to check that one out. This is with the double food, and then you can see 1900 DPM. You have a really long reload. It is 12 seconds. That's with vents and double food, with everything. 100% crew plus vents plus double food, etc. 30 seconds of reload. If you get caught out, if you miss a shot or bounce, then you are basically doomed. So do flank around with it. It is a good tank. It's fun to play. It's different than a Progetto. It's different than the heavy tanks. But yeah, from this lot, and we haven't mentioned this one yet. From this lot, I would go for the E4, then the Progetto probably, or at X equal, SU-130 PM, SCG and Ravioli at the end. Skoda don't really know it yet. And then we have this one, the Sheriff. Mentioned it before when I was talking about the Shark already. This one is a hull down beast. This is a DPM monster. Turret 191, DPM 2.3k with single food, as you can see right here from the top. 232 to 92 on heat. This one gets heat, which is interesting because the Shark gets APCR. But 240, 200 on its damage, 270 on high explosive, which is a bit skimpy, bit skinny, I would say. But all in all, not too bad whatsoever. You could go for calibrated for the how do you call it, gun rammer, and if you would fit the cola instead of the protective kit, you're pumping your DPM up to 2.5k, and if you're dropping adrenaline, it's going to be really monstrous. Is it then a good tank? I think it's less flexible than, say, a T54 E2, because this relies on DPM about the gun. This relies on sitting hold on. It's a bit boring gameplay, but in a platoon, 2 of these, or this one in a platoon with a big potent tank destroyer, you have the DPM to keep tracking people. And if you hold down and people are coming towards you, then you're going to feel just fine and dandy. But yeah, this one is a bit more flexible. So there you have it, nearly, because we still have the tier 7s to contend with. This one has been recently in the gift shop and in the store, and it's now in the auction, so probably it didn't sell that good. Good news to the people who won the giveaway, that's been taken care of, so I think it should be in your garage right now. If it's not, do drop me a note below in the video, or send me an email, or drop me a note on Discord. We're going to sort that out. But this is a T4485. If you want to know what I think of this tank, do check out the video that we made before, which is there, card on top right over there. And I do not want to have this. I need to have another one sorted, because we need the Gravedigger as well. And the Gravedigger is another tank available. We have the T4485, good tank. We have Franken tank, the Tankenstein tank. A classic, basically, which is now available for gold. I vividly remember grinding for this one when it was a true freaking beast. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you may not think this was, but it was a beast. It used to meet tier 5, and then you had this really big SU-130 gun, and you could actually fit a T29 gun on it as well. This has been buffed, I think. It has good armor. It is a bit of a chonker, a Tankenstein basically. But all in all, it's not a bad heavy tank. It's just, it has armor. It moves about. It's a bit slowish. Tiger P / KV4 in an SU-130 or SU-100 gun body, whatever. It's not a bad tank. I wouldn't get this one. I would probably go for this one because I'm a medium tank driver. And yeah, the Gravedigger. What's to say about this one? I think in a tier 7 matchup with not too many tier 7s against you, this one's pretty OP because this front plate is angled up. You do have this as a lower plate basically, which is a weak spot. But it is, on the sides it's only 82, but there's a lot of traction space armor bits everywhere. So that's annoying. And the turret has weak spot right over there, which you can see obviously from the red skin. But if the turret is turning around, you can see it's a little bit angled here, a little bit angled there, etc. This is the best bet to go for. Basically just flank it and shoot it. And it's got a 6-shot autoloader at 90 damage per shot. So yeah, it is a strange tank. In the tier 7 lot, this one I think is the nicest one of them all. This is just a camp tank. You know, it's very niche. And the Gravedigger, not everyone's cup of tea. I don't quite like it. I'm not thrilled of having this one in the auction, to be honest. But in tier 8, tier 9 and tier 10, guys, there's a fair few good tanks available. So, to sum it up after about 20 minutes of me rambling, this one will sell out really fast, I think, together with the WZ111. Highlights of this auction are going to be the Progetto, the T27 medium, the T54 E2 and the SU-130 PM. And as for me, I will probably try to snatch up this tank, the Skoda T27. Why so? It's an autoloader and I don't have it in the garage just yet. Thank you very much for watching. Please tell us below what tank you will be getting from the auction or what tanks you have bought from the auction already. And I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers, happy tanking, bye bye.